Okay, so the record for the most inconsistent YouTuber of all time goes to yours truly. Yeah, I've been extremely busy in real life, and I have not even touched this thing yet, and it's been so long since my last upload. I'm sorry about that, but don't worry, we're getting back to work today. What we're doing today is we're going to work on destroying this monument. This ocean monument's going down. We're going to take it down brick by brick, and then we're going to get prepared to start building our actual Guardian farm. So that's what we're going to start with, and the only way to do that is to basically start from the top and work our way down brick by brick. So let's do it. You know, I really wonder just how many bricks are in this thing. What we should do is after we're done is put it all in a bunch of chests and then see what we're at. It should be pretty interesting to see where that goes. But I guess the best thing to do is just to start somewhere. We'll get these things chopped up. I'm definitely going to be saving all these sea lanterns, even though we're going to have about 1 million of them by the time we get done building this thing. I mean, this Guardian farm is going to be insane when we're done with it. I've been working on the railroad all the live long days. Boy, I tell you, you never realize just how big these things are until you have to go and destroy them brick by brick. This is a lot of work so far, but we're making good progress. Still got a lot more to go, but you know, we'll get there. I don't know if I'm going to save all of the bricks that I'm destroying because a lot of them are falling down pretty far, and I'm just kind of not wanting to deal with picking everything up like that. But, you know, we'll see. Let's speed this up a bit. Now, I know that was a short little time lapse, but that saved you about 4 hours, so you're welcome. But actually, welcome back. What I'm doing now is this whole area has been cleared out. As you can tell, I had to replace it with some slabs because we had a problem with slimes showing up. So what I had to do was go in here and place a whole bunch of slabs down to block the slime chunk. Now, an easy way to find it on Java is by hitting F3 and G. Turns out it was just this one slime chunk, but I wanted it to look natural, so we kind of kept all these hills and stuff, so it still looks pretty normal from what it was looking like, but it's going to look a lot different when we build the actual part where the Guardians are going to go in the middle. So what we're going to do is we're going to build this out, and we have to build like pools, basically like spawning platforms, and then they're going to go into them and then drop down into the ground. Now, we could make this just a drop and collect items, but based on all of the prismarine and stuff that we got from tearing this thing down, we don't really need the items. I mean, yeah, I have a ton of prismarine. I mean, this was all that we got, and that was from tearing down the entire monument. Now, I probably missed a little bit, but I mean, still, 5 chests. I don't really need a lot of prismarine after that, single player. But I do need experience. I need experience a lot, and it turns out the Guardians are a great form of experience. So we're going to build this thing to where when they drop, it only takes 1 hit to kill them. So, without further ado, I think what we need to do is start building this Guardian farm. So let's do it. What do you think about that, Mr. Kitty? Is that a good idea?
You know what I think is a great idea? Is murdering every single Guardian that exists.
I don't know about all that, Kitty. That's a bit much.
Well, I think it's a great idea, and I think you should be the one to do it.
You know what? We're just not gonna pay attention to Mr. Kitty. He's gone crazy today. Okay, he's gone crazy. It's okay. It's okay. Let's hit it. Okay, so the very first thing that I needed to do was find the center point of this entire build. It's pretty simple with F3, but you know, sometimes I have a little bit of dyslexia, so you know, my numbers get mixed up. I decided to dig this thing out as a 3x3 sized hole that we're going to drop all the Guardians into. And then it was just on to constructing the frame. Now, constructing the frame is a very simple process. I mean, I started off by building a giant cube, like how we do with pretty much every other Minecraft build that we do. Sometimes keeping it simple is a little bit easier, even though I like to overcomplicate every little thing. Like by using black stained glass and blackstone. Yeah, I had to gather all those resources extra, and it took me a lot longer than I thought it would, so, it's another reason why this video is taking forever. Now, I constructed each of these pools to be 3 by 7, or at least that was the ideal length, because one flowing water bucket would go all the way to the edge, but not over. But it's just far enough that it'll drag the Guardians over the edge and drop them down this massive chute. So then we had to go on to making the roof. Now, I made the roof out of glass, and this would come to be a big issue later on in the video, so stay tuned. But before we get to that, what I needed to do was lay a platform out so that way we could put water on top and use this as a blade to force the Guardians to the front. The only problem was I had just realized that I made all of these areas too big. So I had to cut everything back by 1 block just to make sure that this Guardian farm wasn't too large, because if my water stream doesn't go all the way to the edge, well, we've got a major issue. But I was able to get all that stuff fixed fairly easily and get the whole thing resized. I ended up using glass in all the corners as well, just because I thought it looked a little bit cooler. Alright, so it's finally time to fill all these pools up with water. All we had to do was break all the blocks above the blade, and it would slowly fill up each pool. Now, I only want to do 1 pool at a time just so we can test and make sure everything works. So the first thing that we have to do is place kelp on all the dirt blocks and raise the kelp all the way to the top, because this is going to turn every one of those water sources into a full water source block. The only problem is Guardians start spawning, and that can be a major issue when you're trying to work in there. And sometimes, if you're like me and not the best at PvP, it doesn't always end the way that you want it to. Oh, guys, no, leave me alone. No, don't, please, no, don't do it! I hate myself sometimes. So yeah, this would prove to be quite the challenge, having all those Guardians in there, but I made quick work of them. And then all I did was replace all the dirt blocks with soul sand, and well, I was zooming. And it seemed to be working okay so far, but what is up with this trident? I mean, it's just zooming around my head. So I was trying to figure out why this thing wasn't working really well, so I thought maybe I'll dig a big hole and then be far enough away. But that didn't really seem to do it either. So then I thought, well, what if it's just like caves or something? So I went to go try to light up a bunch of caves. But boy, oh boy, was this ever a pain in the butt. I mean, they were all underwater.
Get him, Jimmy! No! Ah!
Yeah, you're too easy. Hey, get back, bud.
I just wanted a hug.
Jeez, man, the nerve of some people. Just lighting up cave. I'm lighting up the caves, yeah. All I wanna do is light some caves.
Hey.
Look at these torches, don't see nobody.
This man is losing his mind.
Hey, what's up, dudes? I'm just lighting up this cave,
Why?
Thought I'd just come on by and, keep all the lights
Why
on.
you lighting up my
I don't
cave?
really like dark spaces too much. I'm afraid of the dark,
Hey, bitch.
Don't mind me, boys.
I'm talking to you, bitch.
Hey.
Hey,
Hey,
bitch.
wait, hey, dude,
Hey, bitch.
chill.
Quit lighting my cave, bitch.
Hey,
What you
get
doing,
back,
bitch?
get back.
Stop
Hey,
it, bitch.
buddy,
Hey,
buddy.
Hey, bitch.
Hey,
Stop it. Hey.
I was just trying to light the area up. You didn't have to do that. I just want to spread my lights. Just lighten up the place. No big deal.
I heard your mama likes
Well,
lights.
hey, you don't
Hey,
talk
hey,
about my mama
hey,
like
turn
that.
it up. Hey,
Ain't nobody talk about my
I'm gonna
mama
beat
like that.
you. Hey.
Yeah, that's what you get. All right, well, I guess that's considered a lit up cave. Nobody needs to know what happened in there. But remember when I said I would regret that glass roof? Well, it still wasn't producing even after lighting up all of those caves. I mean, sure, we'd get a couple of Guardians here and there, but it wasn't nearly as productive as you see in most of these YouTube videos. So I had to fix it. And so that's when I discovered that you actually need a solid roof on top of the water. For whatever reason that Minecraft likes to use, it turned out that putting a stone slab on top actually fixed the problem. I mean, we were finally producing a solid amount of Guardians. Who knew that putting stone on top of it would actually fix the problem? I mean, Minecraft logic, am I right? But I was extremely excited with it. It was finally producing very well. And now all we needed to do was work on the actual killing platform down at the bottom. So while I was changing everything to Blackstone because it's my new favorite block, I discovered that some of the Guardians were getting stuck up top. So what I ended up having to do was replace the edge glass where they were falling over with glass panes, and that seemed to fix the issue from what I could tell. Yep, they're falling harder than a turd in an ice storm. I'd say that works pretty good. So now that we got that fixed, it's time to start working on the item collection. I just hooked up a bunch of hoppers at the bottom just to start, and then I built up the platform. Now the idea is I'm gonna have it like a tall section, a medium section, and a short section. That way they'll all get funneled down into where the hoppers are. I just put a couple of slabs on top of the hoppers, that way the items can pass through.
You know that I can't let you just make this farm and not let these guardians suffer for what they've done. You'll make sure that they're reminded every time they fall that they are suffering for all of their sins. And you must punish them, for it is written, it's up to you, Derps. You are the one to do it. That's why you must place this water, so that way they can land and survive, just to be murdered later. It's exactly what I always wanted. A place where we can make these guardians suffer for everything they've done. It will be beautiful.
Well, needless to say, Mr. Kitty's got a few demons he needs to take care of, but in the meantime, I'm going to work on filling up the rest of these pools. Oh, and one word of advice, whatever you do, don't fall into the Guardian farm. It is extremely deadly. I mean, in a matter of seconds, you're just dead. There's nothing you can do. You get crushed, and it's just game over. So yeah, don't do that. What I had to do was actually go back and drain the water that we just placed, that way we could go and actually get in there and kill the guardians. Problem is I'm a bit of a derp and fell back in. It is what it is, but luckily some of the hoppers caught some of my items, so it all works out in the end. So after that little fiasco, I decided it was time to go finish building the roof, and I basically covered the whole thing in yet again more blackstone. So as you can guess, I did a lot of resource gathering to get all this stuff, but it worked out pretty nice. I think it looks really cool. I also managed to put a bunch of shroom lights in just to make sure that nothing spawns up there. And then I decided to cover up these ugly little bits on the bottom with, again, more blackstone, of course, just because I love this block. But yeah, and I have to say, after I got everything done, I was really happy with how the outside of this thing looked. But inside, I was still having a problem where the guardians were all sitting on a 3-block wide area. So now I'm going to try to funnel them into one area using glass panes. It's kind of hard to see what happened, but essentially I just used a bunch of glass panes to funnel them all into one block area. It seemed to work pretty well. So now down at the killing area, I had to use trapdoors to help hold myself in, because every time you get hit by these guys, you get knocked back a little bit. But now that we got that pretty much sorted, we need to start working on the item sorters and the storage area for where we're going to keep all the drops and stuff. So I ended up using a simple water elevator just for getting up and out of this thing, because otherwise it would just take forever and be really annoying. I ended up using a bunch of black stained glass because of course I like it. I like the way it looks underwater, and it works really well. So if you haven't already seen my video on water mechanics, I'll try to explain this really quick. Basically, all you got to do is lay a whole bunch of kelp. That way you can make water source blocks. Then you break the kelp. This essentially turns it into a solid water block. Then once you go back down to the bottom, you replace the dirt with soul sand, and bam, you got yourself an elevator. The only thing is I'm a little bit derpy, so I have a little trouble getting up. But eventually we make it up and everything's good to go. So yeah, it's real simple. Oh, and you remember those slimes from earlier? Well, they're back. This whole bottom area is going to need to get slabbed eventually. But in the meantime, I just need to take care of these guys.
I want to squish.
They're kind of annoying.
Squish.
Will y'all just die already, please? I just don't have time for this. Come on.
Squish.
So after we took care of all those darn slimes, I finally looked at all the items that we'd be getting from this farm, because I really needed to decide which ones I wanted in my sorting system and which ones I wanted to keep for storage for later. So I ended up using a lot more chests than I thought I would, and I think I may have gotten a little bit carried away on this one. Just a little bit. So next I need to clear out a little bit of space for all the item sorters that were going to go behind all the chests. Now the problem is that, well, I kind of screwed up, and if you can tell what I did wrong here, put it down in the comments. But I'm not going to go into too much detail as to how these item sorters work, because I made a video about that. So if you want to see that, I'll put it up in the corner or in the description. But it's very simple. These are very common item sorters. I just totally messed up when I was putting them down. I put them one block too close. So yeah, I ended up doing a lot more work than what I really should have. But that's kind of life, you know? You live and you learn. But that's okay, because today I learned how to make a lot of item sorters. So it's not all a complete loss, you know? Sometimes I just get a little bit more proficient at doing the same thing over and over again. But then I had to go make the water streams to cover these things. Again, this is in the water mechanics video, so it'll be in the description. Now the dropper circuit's simple. It's going to be a comparator going into a backwards facing comparator. Then we're going to put 2 blocks on the behind each one of them. And then we're going to put redstone dust on top of the 1 block, and then a redstone dust next to it on the ground. Then we're going to place a block on top of that redstone. We're going to toggle the comparator, which turns it on and off, and then place a block on top of the final comparator. And there you have it. So I guess you could say that we have our item sorter sorted. Yeah, I know, bad joke. Okay. Well, at least we have it set up and ready to go. So the next thing that we need to do is start building out this base and make it actually look really cool. So let's do it. So I gotta say, I really do love these soul lanterns. They really do add something really creepy to this place. So here's one little tip. I made a lava thing to dispose of all the items I don't want, but that became a serious issue when I was over here mining the Guardians. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but there's hoppers under those slabs, and they can very easily pick up my items. So yeah, I was in a panic. I hurried up, I grabbed my axe, and I started looking all around for items. I shut the item clock off so that way it would stop sending stuff up. But I didn't know whether or not it was all missing or not, so I checked all the hoppers and I went inside, and luckily it looked like as though it was too full and it hadn't quite got to my pickaxe yet. So I actually managed to salvage all of my tools. It was a very happy day because I was really worried, so I may have to tweak that in the future. But overall, you know, I am super happy with how this Guardian farm turned out. I mean, it's actually pretty reasonable. It's not insanely sized, and yeah, it works. So guys, this build took so long that I grew a beard. I've literally been working on this thing for over a month now, on and off, obviously, because, you know, I got other things going on in my life and I don't get paid to do this, so, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. But my point is, I'm here, we got it done, and it's pretty darn sick. I'm not gonna lie, I'm extremely happy with how this thing turned out. I think it looks really, really cool. I mean, I know it's a pretty simple design, but I like the whole like aquarium thing / holding guardians at bay. Yet the bottom in here still looks like it's in part of the ocean. I think it's pretty cool. But the really cool part is down here. Yes, this is the place that I'm most proud of, because holy cow, this thing is insane. Like, it is so powerful, it's crazy. Like, I'm level 16 right now, and look, now obviously I'm gonna take some damage here doing this, but that's okay, not a big deal, because I can always heal up. But like, look at this, look how much XP, like, I'm getting a ridiculous amount. I'm gonna hit level 30 in no time, and this thing just constantly refills. Watch, I'll sit here for like a second, and then bam, it's back up, and I never even killed the first batch of them. I mean, this is bonkers. I mean, you can see that I'm taking a pretty good amount of wax here, so I will need to eat, so that way I don't end up dying and losing all my stuff down here to the hoppers. But I'm just going to pay a little bit more attention as I do this, you know what I mean? So, like, right now, I'd probably want to eat some cod or something just to, you know, keep me going in this game. Nothing too crazy, you know? And look, while I'm eating, it gets to fill right back up. This thing's great. I think it's pretty awesome. All right, let's get a couple good wax in there. Here we go. Come on, baby. Come on, baby, we're almost there. Look at that, almost level 30 already. This took no time at all. Come on, baby, smack. Come on. Okay, I'm almost dead. I'm almost dead again. I think what I may need to do is put a beacon down here, because this is a little bit obnoxious, the amount of damage I'm taking. But I think with a beacon, that might solve all the problems. All right, there we go, level 30, no problems. Okay, so this thing's been pretty good so far. Obviously, it's not been running permanently, and I've not been, like, running it super long. This is to kind of catch extra, because I know we're going to get a lot more of these pieces than these pieces. But even here, we're doing pretty darn good. Remember, this is a single-player world, so yeah. Oh, look, now I got some food. So cool. So I get food out of this ordeal. And then what I'm going to have to do is then take those pieces and craft them into these pieces. But luckily, everything we need is right here. I mean, we even get ink sacs from this thing. So it's pretty awesome if you ask me. I think it's pretty cool. And I especially love the way this thing looks almost like a dungeon. It's really like really dark, which is something I really, really like with these kinds of builds, especially with Guardians, because those guys suck, okay? They really suck. They cause me a lot of pain. So this is like minuscule for what they've done to me. So, yeah, pretty excited. Now I'm just doing this for fun because it's just too much fun doing this. This is like super satisfying being able to just whack away. Okay, so let me show you one of the coolest things about this base, and that's if you can do this trick shot, okay? Here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to come flying out of here and see if we can do the loop-the-loop. Here we go, and oh yeah, we got it. So yeah, anyway, that's like the coolest part about this base, I think. But yeah, it's fun, it works. We can get a ton of levels really easy, and you can too if you want to build something like this. Just be warned, it's gonna take a long time, like an obnoxious amount of time. But I am very happy with how this thing turned out. I think it's great. I'm gonna definitely put this thing to use because Lord knows with how much I die, I need this just to be able to get my levels back. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, you know, be sure to hit that like button on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't already, even though I don't know the next time I'll be uploading because I am very inconsistent. I'm going to try to do better, though. So bear with me here. You know, like I said, this isn't my job. This is just what I do for fun. So if you want to have fun and if you enjoyed these videos, you know, a like and a subscribe would really make my day and help, you know, do that algorithm thing, you know, that they're always talking about. I don't know if it really works. If it does, whatever. We'll see. Anyway, guys, have a great day, and I'll be sure to see you in the next one.